but we'd be remiss if we didn't bring in our guy right now. And Sarah, you mentioned it. I'll let you do the intro here. You put on your guest booking hat for this one. I'm looking forward to bringing him in.
Well, listen, we all love this guy, Super Bowl winner. But he like renewed our love with the way he and his sons went to the NFL draft in Detroit, and they announced, I believe, the 3rd round pick, Adisa Isaac. So, boy, did it have Ravens Twitter and social media on fire. So, without further ado, here he is, Super Bowl champion Haloti Ngata. How's
What's
it going,
up?
Haloti? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh man, long time no chat. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's
Where
been a
are you
while.
at these days? Are you still in Baltimore, Owings Mills?
No, I'm in Utah in Park City.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where my family. Well, not Park City. My family's down in Provo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BYU alum. I know.
Yeah, I know. I still feel a little bit hurt that you weren't there, but listen, you took your path and it led to good places. So,
For sure.
all right. Well, Bobby, should we play? And Haloti, do you know Bobby?
We have not met.
No. What's up, Bobby?
Great to meet you, Haloti.
You too.
Yeah.
Sarah really wanted Kingsley, by the way, in the draft, but he went elsewhere.
We're gonna have to talk about that.
The BYU product. But anyway, should we begin with you kind of lighting the internet on fire this weekend?
Sure.
Let's do that. It's just in case those of you out there haven't seen this gem yet from Detroit, Haloti and his boys.
Detroit, back up. I'm here with my sons, Sam, Max, and Colt. They were all born in Baltimore, and they were all raised to say one thing. Steelers suck!
All right, how'd you come up with that?
We just, I don't know. We just wanted to do something different. And everyone was kind of going up and announcing. And I asked the NFL people there if I can go up with my boys. And they wanted to have a little fun. And I was like, you guys want to say Steelers suck? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So
this was all on the fly then?
Yeah. It was kind of like right before we walked out. It was like, all right, I'm going to just say, this is what I'm going to say. And then you guys just say Steelers suck afterwards. And then they're like, all right.
That's perfect. It's funny because when you first said that, you were like, all of them were born in Baltimore. I was like, me and Haloti are very similar. The Ravens both brought us to Baltimore, and all 4 of my kids were born in Baltimore too.
Nice.
And we've moved out here. We're in Columbus, Ohio, and my oldest is in high school now. And Haloti, he's unafraid. Like it's Cleveland, France here, Bengals and Steelers. Like they're all here.
Yeah.
And he will take his Lamar Jackson jersey and he shows up to school, win or loss. He's there on Mondays and he's ready to take all the flack.
You got to rep where you're born.
Absolutely. So what are your boys up to? Are they into football, rugby? What do you got them doing?
Yeah, so spring now is my oldest is in track, and then my other 2, my second and third son, are in rugby, and then they all do football and basketball when those seasons come up, and then summer kind of travel around.
And how old are they?
14, 11, 10, and then I have a 3-year-old son that was born here in Salt Lake City, though.
Okay. So you have 4 sons, no little girls.
4 boys, no girls, 4 boys.
And you couldn't convince the youngest to get involved in Detroit? Not quite yet?
Well, yeah, he was a little young. I don't know if he probably would have ran all over the stage, and I would have to chase him rather than making announcements.
Yeah.
So, Haloti, let's transition over to the Ravens here. Lots of changes on defense, but I kind of want to start with Justin Madubuike along that defensive line. He just got a massive deal.
Love it.
Okay, you love it. Tell us like your thoughts on Madubuike and him just being around to be the leader for the next 5 years, is it?
Yeah, for sure. Like the awesome thing about Madubuike is like I feel like we were kind of opposite. Like I came in as like a big run stuffer, and then became a pass rusher, and he like very good pass rushing, and then like is now dominating the run. So it's like it's kind of like his game has kind of gone the other way. Other than my career, so like it's kind of different in that way. But I just love watching his the way he plays and his relentless pursuit, and it's just awesome. love that he got a big contract, and I love that he's wearing 92, and it just looks right on him. So it's perfect.
It kind of reminds me of having him and Roquan behind him, even though you guys, like you said, have a different style. And now it's him and then Roquan. Like
Yeah,
it's like Haloti and Ray Lewis 2.0 here.
so yeah, for sure. It's when you can get that camaraderie, that communication and like um, trust in each other. Like Ray would sometimes just say, "Stay front side." I'm like, "All right," and then like even though it's like not the play I'm supposed to be doing, I know Ray's going to cover what I'm supposed to be doing. So or like he'll be like, "Stay backside, stay backside." I'm like, "All right." So I'll hear it and just know like Ray will cover me front side or backside depending on what he's seen, because obviously he's standing up and can see everything, and I'm just down. But like they will have that like trust and communication where they can kind of just um, do things without even needing a coach to tell them what to do, and it's great. And then with Ray to add, I mean, you kind of have Hamilton, by Roca, so that's like
Mhm.
you're going to have that all three levels are going to be covered by amazing, great leaders that are just going to continue to make that defense great.
Haloti, do you make anything of sort of the late blooming development that we've seen from guys like Justin and Brandon Stevens last year, and perhaps Adafe Owe, who just had his 5th-year option picked up like within the last hour, maybe
Queen.
perhaps, yeah, PQ. I mean, do you make anything of, being that you've been there, done that, of late blooming developers?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of was in that same boat. You just got to follow those leaders, and those guys had great leaders in front of them that were there and then moved on. Like I had Trevor Price, Kelly Gregg, and those guys moved on after, when I became the older kind of vet guy, and then got the big contract. So it's like those guys had the same thing with Calais Campbell and all the other guys that have continued on, and so it's just they just done a great job with listening to their leaders, following their example, and then taking that on and making it their own, and then now continuing that um, tradition of Raven defense.
Haloti, you played with Zach Orr, right?
Yeah, I actually played with him for a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
he was.
What do you make of his meteoric rise in coaching now the
That's
defensive
awesome.
coordinator?
I love it. It's he was was he drafted? I don't remember. Like he was a
He
late
was
draft or
undrafted, I think.
undrafted. Yeah,
Yep.
so I think I was with him for 1 year, and then I left, or 1 or 2 years. But yeah, just I just remember him. He was just fast guy that can, great special teams player, and then ended up playing some defense. But it's great to see guys that you played with or even against that are now coaching and making a name for themselves in coaching.
What is it? How do the Ravens like it astounds me that no matter who leaves, they've had so many different defensive coordinators through there. Obviously, you've lost a ton of stars such as yourself and then Suggs and then Ray and Ed and all that. And somehow Ravens defense continues to be like at least top 10. Last year it was like fighting with the Browns for number 1. What how do the Ravens do that? What do you think?
A lot of it, I think, is just the leadership, um, guys coming in and figuring out the play like a Raven, and understanding the way we play defense, and then continuing like having that pride and that want to continue that legacy of Raven defense, and then passing it down to the younger guys. I've never had a group of guys who are so unselfish and willing to help you and coach you and do whatever they can to like help you be better so that the team is better.
Mhm.
I think it's continued on, and it obviously kind of shows because like the guys are, like you said, our the defense is still really good, and no matter who leaves, it continues to be Raven defense, and a lot of it is with leadership and it just trickling down to the younger guys, and when those guys become older, it kind of continues on, and then I think a lot of it is the pride of like not wanting to let that Raven legacy defensive legacy down, and so. um, hats out to all the guys that are kind of there and wanting to continue that tradition.
Haloti, is there any chance that you could shift your screen just down ever so slightly? We love looking at the biceps, and they're
Or
still
up or
sorry,
sit
Oh,
back
sorry, up,
and
yeah.
up,
sorry.
up.
The sorry,
There we
I meant
go.
to say up, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
the
There we go.
biceps
There
are
he
still
is.
looking like you could
Yeah, I know. It's
sorry.
contribute today,
biceps. I'm
but,
like, let's put him next to Matabike and let's go.
they could definitely still contribute today. But uh, we always like to ask this question with sensitivity out of respect to Ray, but it's become very clear with Roquan's emergence and emergence from the jump that there are parallels between the two, whether it be on field play, whether it be personality, whether it be impact. So again, asking this very sensitively, do you see those similarities between the two of them?
Definitely, there is similarities. I love that Ray actually sat down with Roquan and they've had some chalk talk and film talk and stuff like that, and Ray passing on some of his um, tricks or advices and to help Roquan. But a lot of that you could see that when Roquan was with Chicago that he had a lot of that in him. Um, but I definitely see a lot of similarities with Ray and Roe and the way they play and the leadership and the relentless pursuit to the ball, sideline to sideline, and it excites me for the future because just knowing that Roquan's there and knowing that I can trust the defense is going to be great because Roquan is in the middle, conducting the whole thing and leading that group, and um, I can trust that he won't let that defense down or let that whole defensive play come down because he's there. So everyone knew when I was playing and Ray was there, or even before I was there, that the defense was going to be great. And I feel that same way with Roquan, where I just know and trust that the defense is going to be great because of Rose in the middle.
Hey, just thinking back to like what we started off of with the Steelers suck. And which is true. But somehow they stunk last year and still made it to the playoffs. What do you make of the AFC North as we kind of last year? It was by far the toughest division in football. I mean, it usually is, but in the past, like when you were around, it felt like we could always count on 2 wins against the Browns. And
Yeah,
now that's not the case. We split with them last year. Burrow's over there in Cincinnati, and now perhaps the Steelers have found themselves a quarterback between um their 2 guys that they brought in, Russell
Russell,
Wilson and
Justin Fields.
Justin
Justin
Fields.
Fields.
Yeah. So like this is going to be a bloodbath. I mean, what do you make
Yeah,
of this division?
I love it that there's going to be a lot of competition and that there's not going to be a down week. But you're right, like us having 3 teams in the playoffs last year with Cleveland, Steelers, and us. It's like okay, like Cincy when Burrow is healthy again, it's like what's going to happen, and so it's like it's going to be fun to watch. Um, Obviously, winning the division is awesome, and you can brag about that a little bit, even if you lose to the Steelers twice.
Mhm.
Still suck because we won the division, but it's just it's going to be fun to watch. Like Cleveland defense is, they're showing that they can be a great defense and win games, and Cincinnati with Burrow, like once he went down, it kind of like their whole season went down, and then
Yeah.
Steelers with their quarterbacks and they have Patrick Queen there now to see what he can do with their
Ugh.
defense.
By
And
the way, if that happened on your watch, how would you guys be treating Queen right now?
I would tease him and make fun of him for a little bit just to, but
Yeah.
I mean they
You
went
got to get
after him.
paid, right?
Yeah, they went after him, and
Yeah.
they're the ones that wanted him the most, and so I guess you go there. But I don't know. I don't know if I could ever see myself in a black and gold
Ugh.
uniform, and I don't know if I could ever go there. But
Yeah.
And there's a couple of them right now too. Deshaun Elliott's going to
yeah,
be in
there's
the
a couple.
secondary as
Yeah,
well.
right.
So
Geno Stone went to the Bengals.
yeah,
Look at all
Yeah,
these
the
traitors
Bengals.
around here.
right.
Yeah, I still would rather go to Bengals than Steelers. So
Yeah.
See, that's really interesting though. That just shows, kind of reminds everybody the era in which you played in, right? Because
yeah,
in recent years, especially since I started covering the team, it really has been this like especially with Burrow, of course, it to me, it's felt like Cincinnati, Baltimore has more juice, but we know the more storied matchup is the one that, you're
Yeah,
referring to.
for sure.
There's still more hate for Steelers though, even though the
Yeah,
Bengals have been more competitive. I feel like in Baltimore there's still
I
more hate for
yeah,
Pittsburgh.
I feel like I needed to make another spark. That's why we had to do that in the draft because like I feel like there has to be more of like a hate for each other. I feel like it's not. We've become a little more friendly than we need to be, and so there needs to be a little more hate for each other.
Agreed. There we go.
So in other
Bringing it
words,
back.
in other words, your strategy was I'm reigniting the best
Reignite,
rivalry in football. Is
yes,
that what you're saying?
reignite that fight with each other for sure.
Let's go.
That's fantastic.
Hey, I want to get one offensive question in because you talked about like you're excited because Roquan's there, right? Like you have the leader, all the pieces can change, but like Roquan has the standard.
Yep.
On the offensive side, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
What do you make of him as like a leader, as like a light to the offensive side, and what everything that he's capable of?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, two-time MVP. It's like it's that Lamar is going to get it. He's going to cover the offense. At the same time, like I'm glad we drafted some O linemen because we lost a lot of O linemen. So I know we got weapons for sure, but obviously if Lamar can't have that time, or if he feels like he has to scramble all the time, then he's not as effective. So as long as those young guys can come in and protect Lamar, I think Lamar's going to have another amazing year.
Well, speaking of weapons too, like if you could put on your strategizing hat as a former defensive tackle, like how do you try to stop this offense? Because you have your
Yeah.
two-time NFL MVP, you've got this new and improved backfield with King Henry that could have the speed as early as we don't know what his timeline is, but Keaton Mitchell's going to have the speed at some point to kind of give you a little bit of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the outside weapons. They've got the new rookie, and you've got one of the best, deepest tight end rooms in the entire game. So what are you possibly doing as a defensive tackle?
So honestly, when you look at that offense, is everyone has to just do their job, and then you can't like a lot of times you can't be playing Derrick Henry all the time because Lamar is going to pull it and then possibly RPO it. So you never know. So it's like everyone stays home, do their job, and then once you see that ball, you go after it. So like it's like you can't really. And it's going to be tough. I feel like, but you just got to do your job to the best you can, and when they do that option RPO stuff, you got to just stay home and find the ball when you see it and then go after it.
All right, let me ask you this. So still bitter the way the season ended against the Chiefs, because the Ravens could have beaten them. They absolutely could have. What going into 2024? Give me one of each. Like the thing that most makes you feel like the Ravens can get over the hump and get past the Chiefs if first they survive the AFC North and then try to get past the Chiefs. What most gives you confidence they can do that? And what's the one thing that you're most concerned about as they try to do it?
The most confidence and the most concern?
Yeah.
That they can get over the Chiefs.
Yes.
Defensively better against the Chiefs. I think we'll be better defensively. Offensive line wise, that kind of worries me a little bit against the Chiefs. I guess for the season, like I said earlier, you just gotta make sure those guys can gel and give that time to Lamar and protect him for what he needs. And Lamar doesn't need that much time. He needs a little time just to do his thing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that worries me the most. Is it's just our O-line. But I think we'll be better defensively this year, which is crazy to say because we lost our DC and we lost some guys. But like I said, I just have so much trust in Rowe and the things he can do. And Hamilton's going to have another year under his belt, and he's become a dominant safety. And just love the way he plays. And then you have Madubuike at front that's going to lead the front and continue that dominant, performance, with him in the line. So I just have more confidence in our defense this year.
Yeah, that is. I was gonna follow up, say why the defense because of all the losses, but I hear you.
Yeah,
It's faith in those leaders and Hamilton
yeah,
coming on and Roquan. Okay, I like that. I like that, and I think the offensive line stuff is self-explanatory. So I have
yeah.
one more question, Bobby, before we close it. Did you have any more?
One more for me, one more for you.
Okay, you go first.
Your former teammate, you mentioned him earlier on, Zach Orr, and you just mentioned Mike McDonald, one of the game's great minds who got, a head coaching opportunity within the last couple months. What's the biggest challenge to doing something that you've never done before in calling plays for Zach?
The thing that's great for Zach is he's been around the team and he knows the guys, and so I think it's just him understanding the OC who he's going against. That it's going to be a chess match all game, and so they're going to run things at you early, and you just got to learn to adjust. And I think Zach Orr just learning the adjustments as the game goes on, that he needs to make adjustments and not just sit and think it's going to come back, or it's going to come back to you when you don't make adjustments. So I think that's the biggest thing is just your guys, make your adjustments when you need to.
All right, here we go. I'm going to put you out on this. What is the best route to getting a Nada back into the castle? You coming back as a coach, or us drafting one of those boys who hate the Steelers? Which way can we get a Nada back in the building?
Yeah, I mean, I think drafting one of them is going to be the quickest way. Maybe
Okay.
I'm loving this dad life and Ubering them everywhere and
Yeah.
getting to watch all their sports, and I love it and enjoy it, and I want to see them. I want to see them grow and try to help them be great citizens in their communities when they become adults. And I think drafting the Nada will be the fastest way to have one back in the castle.
When's going to be our first chance? So you said you have a 14-year-old, so maybe we're
Sam's
talking.
a freshman. So
Okay, so he's a freshman, and then he's got to have at least 1 or 2 years in college, yeah? Or you want to
Yeah.
go all the way through? So we're
Yeah.
talking like
Yeah.
2030 here?
Hey, NIL,
Yeah.
Haloti, he could do well for himself leading up.
I know, that's true.
Don't rush him, Don't.
For sure. Make sure he's Well, 6, 7 years. You never know.
Okay.
What are his measurables right now as a frosh?
He's 6'2", 190.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's 6'2".
yeah. People thought he was taller than me. They were like, "Is your son taller than you?" I'm like, "No, not yet." He says
Not
he
yet.
has poofy hair. So it made him
Yeah.
taller.
Yeah. Is your wife an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, she did tennis and cheerleading, and she was tall. She's like 5'9".
Oh, there we go.
So,
Oh, yeah. I
but
like it. I would like a couple Nadas in there. Are any of them, are all of them like linemen?
my third one, he's my thicker boy.
Okay.
He's more of a lineman guy. My older two are taller, leaner kids. They might get thicker, but they could be like a DN tight end type
Okay.
body. But my fourth boy, he might be a tank too.
All
So
right.
he's 3.
I like it. We got
Sarah.
4 chances. We got 4 chances here, Bobby.
Sarah, I can just see it now. DeCosta's going to start showing up to Utah youth football games when he's
Yeah.
during his downtime. You
Yeah.
watch.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but this is like such a proud moment. Kadri Ishmael's son is coming out for
I
a
did see
tryout
that.
this weekend.
That is
And I'm
so
like, what's
awesome.
just a proud moment, you know?
For
Look at
sure.
that.
That is awesome when you can have Raven players that have their kids come back and play.
Yeah.
Here
I
it
love
is.
that.
Kadir,
Yeah.
out of Sanford, Kadir Ismail is going to get a chance. So I know
Yeah.
Q
That's awesome.
is all fired up, and we've heard that there were some rumblings of this happening. So it's exciting.
Wait. I got one more question. I said I already had it, but okay.
Yeah.
Haloti. Can any of those 4 boys go to BYU? Are we okay with that? Or are you going to be pushing them to Oregon? Can we get them to the Cougars?
They have free reign to go
Okay.
wherever they want.
I'm gonna listen.
That's a good answer.
We had Steve Young. We had Steve Young on here right before the Ravens 49ers game.
Uh-huh.
He dubbed me as an official scout for BYU. So
nice.
I'll come and visit, the
Perfect.
boys with coach, and we'll get it going on.
All right, yeah, they're free to go anywhere they want.
All right.
Wherever they feel
And
the
needless
best.
to say, Sarah's taking the role, Haloti, extremely seriously. Needless to say. So there you have it.
All
All right,
right.
Haloti, we appreciate you so much. I
Yeah.
just love to hear that you're doing great with all the boys out there living it up in Park City. Do you ski? Do you ski up there?
I snowboard. So in the wintertime, I drop off my boys at school and and I go to the mountain for a couple hours.
Oh, see, this is why he doesn't want to coach. You're living life right now.
I'm living the life
Max.
right now. Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I
awesome,
love
man.
it. Well, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right.
Haloti Ngata, thank you so much. Appreciate it. That was really cool stuff, and
Love that,
great
man.
job, Sarah, for getting him involved in the show.
Dude, my job's not done until one of those boys first is in a BYU uniform and then a Raven. My job is not done until then.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. Look at him back in the day. Number 92, of course, now worn by Justin Matabike, coming off a big time breakout season that got him paid. This was fun. That was cool. Go down memory lane.
Yeah.
It was always his entrance too, right?
Dude,
Pointing
that
up to the
tattoo he was just showing us, that's new because look at these pictures.
yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah, that was I felt. I mean, we all had a great look at his biceps, which we know was A1 position as usual. But we needed to see the man's face.
Could you see that? Could you imagine seeing him come down on a snowboard down the mountains in Salt Lake City, Park City?
You know, I hate to say this, but you want to know who probably could have visioned that? Our buddy that we had over the weekend, RG3, probably has nightmares seeing Haloti Ngata just anywhere coming at him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been rough. Well, okay, so from that interview, in addition to hearing how this was just all on the fly, he's like, "Can I bring up my sons? Do you guys want to say Steelers?" Like that is hilarious that they're on the fly. And but it was interesting to me that he shares the same concern as all of us, which is like, is this offensive line going to be okay? It's the guys coming up. They're betting on them. Okay. But that he thinks the defense is going to be better. That was surprising to me. Given, as he said, he goes, I know it's crazy for me to say because there's a change at defensive coordinator and you lost, a lot of veterans in free agency, but it's his faith in Roquan and Hamilton. He named Hamilton as like one of the reasons,
Oh yeah,
So,
you got to.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And before I could even get out my entire Matabike question, he's like, "Oh, I love that. Love that."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's man. That was awesome. Great stuff there.
Yeah.
Haloti's just he's so, and like I love what he had to say about his boys too. Like he's so fully focused on raising them to be like, responsible citizens. Like, I think that's what he's like.
Yeah,
Like
in
good
their
citizens.
good citizens in our community.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah.
speaks to a lot of the thing. Now, I wasn't here when he was, but I've read up on just the impact that he had on Baltimore's community too, with his resources. Special guy. That was really cool. And how funny is it that he lives in Utah now?
Yeah. Well, he
It's
grew
like
up
full
in Salt Lake
circle.
City. Well, he grew up in Salt Lake City. Haloti did, and man, does he lost both of his parents. I think in high school, maybe his first one in high school, and then his second one during college.
Yeah.
Like he had been through it. Talk about, and so when I remember when we were doing the draft process, and we said like the Ravens look for people. Well, they're not only looking for people, but it helps in the recruiting process or in the drafting process to know that you've overcome adversity. And Haloti Ngata had been through it, right?
So we just
before he
talked
got
about over the
drafted.
weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Which
so important.
yeah, which is why it hit a little bit harder that he's like, I'm just enjoying being a dad because he had lost his father
I got you.
at such a young age. And Bobby, when he was saying all that, it spoke to me. I cannot tell you, when I moved here to Columbus from the Ravens, they offered for me to keep running late for work. And I could have kept doing that. And originally that was the plan. Like we were going through like negotiations and all of that. And I just had out of nowhere such a strong desire and feeling to leave it all behind because I hadn't enjoyed my kids. I had 4 kids while I was working for the Ravens, like just pregnancy after pregnancy after pregnancy. And they were great supporting me through that. And I just felt like I was juggling so much. I was just doing Man of the Crowd and I had late for work and I was editing and I had 4 kids. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't even care that it's just late for work and I'm getting rid of, 80% of my duties. Like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And it was like, you called me the day my youngest went into, kindergarten. And I was like, oh, maybe I can pick it up again. But there's nothing. And people ask me all the time, do you miss the Ravens? Do you miss it? Not really when you compare it to what Haloti's talking about. Like,
Yeah.
like as awesome as the Ravens were and as awesome as a good employer that they were, nothing compares to being a mom. Just doesn't even hold a candlestick to it at all. So
Can't wait.
anyway, I just felt that when he said
Can't
that.
wait to be able to relate to you both.
Yeah.
That was cool though. That was like it was so incredibly genuine.